Look in my eyes. What do you see? WWE Survivor Series.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, that rhymed.
Welcome to the Stand on Top podcast. Welcome back to the Staying on Topic podcast. My name is Ruben.
I'm Vic.
And I'm John.
And that intro was very cringe. I am so sorry about that.
Cringe is good sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
It's fun.
I know. I thought it was funny at the time, which at the time of this was like a minute ago.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny for that 1 minute. At least I thought.
I chuckled.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, if you couldn't figure out from that intro, the main topic of today's thing is basically we forced Vic to watch WWE Survivor Series because Vic had never seen a wrestling show.
In years.
Yeah.
Well,
For a very long time, at least.
For a very long time.
I'd say asked. Not really forced.
I think the last... I watched it willingly.
I think we've all told him to do it.
I watched it willingly.
We were
Oh, so-
yeah, willingly, but we were like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
sure.
you're going to do it.
Sure.
Basically.
I think the last WWE thing that I actually saw fully was like a SummerSlam, like before 2010.
Yeah, but that's not going to get clicks, so we'll probably name the title like...
Nice.
The title will probably be something like, we forced our friend to watch WWE Survivor Series for the first time ever.
Yep.
We'll probably just farm engagement clicks for that.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a fair long time.
Yeah, so long that I can't really remember anybody that I really watched. So
Yeah. So technically, it's new to you.
it's
Yeah.
very new. Very new.
Anyway, again, that'll be like the main topic. We'll get into it. We'll probably do like each individual match chronologically as it happened.
Mm.
And we'll talk about it. We'll give our thoughts on them. And then,
It's
we'll
pretty
obviously-
good. I haven't seen a Survivor Series in a long time either, so
Yeah,
It's
there's
very-
also War Games.
it was War Games.
War
Yes.
Games.
War Games.
I had never seen a War Games.
And I've
event
seen
as
too
well.
many.
So.
Yeah.
I'll get to that when we get to the main topic of the show. But as is tradition for these podcasts, we will talk about the things that we thought were pretty interesting. If you're only here for the wrestling, you're going to have to wait. But we won't take up too much of your time. But like I said, we always start this off with just little things that we thought were interesting or things that we wanted to talk about. I think Vic said he wanted to talk about something that was involving Steam.
Yeah. So not too long ago, I can't remember the exact date because I just found out about this maybe 2 days ago, was Steam changed their policies for developers in putting out content, which I
What do
thought
you
was
mean?
super
Like, as
interesting.
far as-
So, you know how sometimes when either AAA studios say like, hey, this game is coming out, you can get the deluxe edition, or you can get this, you can buy the base game, or you can buy it with like an extra DLC or an
Yeah.
extra, whatever, pass or whatever. They're now cracking down on developers that don't promise on time on delivering those.
but like cracking down like what?
So, if depending on where they're saying the release date on like the extra stuff that they're giving that's not part of the base game.
Yeah.
If they don't deliver it on that specific season or the specific date that they said, they'll give them like the following season like the following season time. If they don't deliver it by then, they're gonna force the developers to give the person the refunds.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done. That's kind of
That's
cool. Yeah.
which is a shame because that should be
That should be how it
That
is.
should be
Yeah,
how it is,
people
but-
waiting around for promise games when they don't happen.
yeah.
I think that's a bigger issue. Though,
I don't remember the exact wording on it. But there's I mostly saw Asmongold talk about this. Asmongold talk about this. So that's where I found out about it, and then I looked a little bit more into it. It's kind of cool to see that Steam is kind of being like, hey, like obviously on their end, they don't want litigation on them. Like if like something shady happens,
Yeah.
But it's cool to see a Valve be like, hey, we get it, but we also don't want to be a part of the screw up that you guys are doing. So we're kind of forcing you guys to do this.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see as a consumer. I don't use PC, So it doesn't really involve me at all. But I thought it was some cool piece of news.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Like you say, there's something that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Too many games it's happened across too many games, right? Too many different genres. Like, hey, we're gonna put out a game, and it just doesn't come to fruition. It doesn't ever happen. There's been games where they do it, not really Kickstarter, but they get a crowdfunding, right?
Yep.
And the game never happens.
That never happens.
The people don't get refunded.
Nope.
Not even most of the time. And so it's just it's kind of good they're doing it.
Yeah, the great thing is that they're having like some slack on the leash on that for like announcements and stuff. So you don't have to specify a description on what you're releasing, right? So as long as it's like you get 2 extra weapons and 2 extra cosmetic, right? All that kind of stuff. Like as long as you say they're getting 2 things, right? It's not like, oh, you're gonna get a void sword, right? But then they give like some random other, right? Like as long as you say, oh, you're getting an extra sword or an extra so and so, depending on the game, you're getting an extra gun for this or whatever. As long as they say like a general description of like you're gonna get this, right?
And it's okay.
And then it's okay. It's the date that they're kind of focusing more on. Now, there's more details to this, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, and I'm too lazy to look them up. So,
yes, business.
Business. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see all of that happening on the developer side of things, because I thought it was cool.
Nice.
I'm like, yeah.
And I will add to basically what you were mentioning is like you don't play PC, so this doesn't really concern you.
No.
However, it only takes one person to basically be the the stepping stone of things to happen. So like just because this is happening on Steam doesn't mean it won't happen to like Xbox or Nintendo or PlayStation.
Which I hope it does.
Yeah, because granted, this, like you said, it's one of those things that it should just kind of be the norm. We shouldn't have to have waited this long for something like that. So if this is the step in the right direction for stuff like that to happen, then I'm all for it.
Honestly, if this starts becoming more normalized, I'm probably going to go out of my way to get more like pre-order stuff or like deluxe edition stuff, just because that's the reason why I never really buy any stuff like that, because it's like I'm probably never going to get this stuff anyways. So if they really start cracking down on that, I'm like, all right, this is cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought I'd share that because I thought it was super interesting.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely more beneficial for like just the gamer in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because especially in a time period now where like a lot of people are, I guess money conscious is the word, or like the phrase of like using it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to spend their money in places they don't want to spend their money,
Exactly.
So especially with we had an entire episode kind of dedicated to games and kind of like the gaming sphere and like how games can technically are getting more expensive, but they're technically the cheapest form of entertainment.
Yeah,
one of the cheapest forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
That being said, $70 is still not cheap. And then if you get the deluxe edition, like you said, which includes like sometimes it's like a season pass or stuff like that,
go up to like $100.
Yeah, $190, $100 right there.
Yeah.
And you're at that point you're basically just paying for future stuff.
Yeah.
So if you don't get that future stuff, it's a big slap in the face to you who bought that. Bought that with the promise of future stuff. But that's a whole separate argument, is right. Should you pre-order something based off the promise of something in the future? You probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But to each their own. If you want to do that, that's your MO.
Hey, but now if this thing becomes more normalized,
this is now normalized, then you can do that and not really have to worry about that.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So obviously, overall net positive for the average
net positive.
gamer.
Oh yeah. Hopefully in a grandiose direction for the gaming sphere.
Yeah. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully this is now this Valve and Steam kickstart this. You see this in like other online retailers, with like PlayStation and Xbox. Again, step in the right direction, but we'll have to wait and see for stuff like that. Yeah. So, I guess I have like 2 pieces of news. John said he was having a little bit of a hard time trying to find some news. So
been real busy.
Yeah, we it's been a busy week. We just
just
came off of Thanksgiving,
Yep.
Black Friday, a bunch of stuff. We work retail. It's been a hectic couple days. So I just thought, I'll bring in, especially because we didn't do news last week. So I was just like, oh, well, now I have double the news from last week that I could just kind of bring up today.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
So the first thing I want to do, and I feel like at this point I've just been kind of doing it because I've been playing the game. I just have more stuff to talk about. Overwatch, they had their little beta. I wouldn't even say it was a beta. It was like their, the World Championships happened that weekend, and while the World Championships were happening, they, let people play the new hero that's going to be in season 14 for Overwatch. His name is Hazard.
Who I keep miscalling Havoc.
Yeah, I almost had to stop myself from saying Havoc. I was like, no, it's Hazard.
Yeah.
Watch us be like, no, it's actually Havoc, and
Havoc.
we've actually been, but I'm pretty sure it's Hazard, like 100% sure.
If it's Havoc, I take full credit because I actually knew his name.
But if it's Hazard, then I was right.
Then I was completely wrong. Yes.
And first impressions, I played him for pretty much the entire weekend as much as I could, because he is tank, and most people still don't like, even though it's a new hero, like a lot of people like don't really want to play tank. I don't know why. I think tank's pretty okay. In terms of like, obviously DPS is going to be the thing everyone wants to play, right? Everyone wants to do massive amounts of damage, stuff like that. But I've always thought the tank role was pretty cool. And I think overall, his kit is like fine. Like, I don't think he was as busted as I initially thought he was. Like, when you first, like, most things, you play a new character, it's like, oh my god, he's the most busted thing in the world. Like, they gotta balance him and stuff real quick. Yeah. But like after a while and after a few games, it's just like, is he really that good? I feel like he's okay. I feel like there's been other characters, like when they launched, they're just busted. Yeah, like Mauga.
Yeah, Mauga's still busted.
Yeah, he's still busted. Like, a perfect example of somebody like who they introduced. He was already kind of broken, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll fix him," and then they just didn't really fix him. They didn't really fix him that much, and he just was still busted. Yeah. I don't know if I see Hazard being like the tank that is chosen for like competitive play, like in terms of like a team composition, unless you have like a very unique build that kind of caters his like play style, because he's a very agile like character. His whole thing is like movement and like getting from point A. He has that little kind of like a mini May wall that he can climb on. It does damage if enemies go into it, and he can climb, I say,
right.
This little
he can scuttle,
basically. But he doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. I think that was my biggest concern, was because his primary fire is basically, it's like a shotgun. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like it does enough damage like a shotgun probably should. I will say the coolest part about him is probably, and forgive me for not remembering the names of all these abilities, but it's the one where he like, he like, it's like a Doomfist shield, but like he shoots projectiles. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that like a multi-hit too? So it
targets onto as long as you're in the radius, it'll hit. And the other cool thing about it is that if you do that and you like have reduced like ammunition, it'll regenerate the ammunition. I was like, that's pretty cool. And I actually think it does enough damage. Like, it's not like killing you like instantly, but basically it feels like what you want to do is you want to shoot, maybe jump in and then hit the thing, regenerate your thing while also doing damage to them, and hopefully you kill them. But again, it just feels like there's ways to like counter that. Like, whenever I would like go up against another Hazard, it never felt like one would get like the advantage over the other. It was basically like, okay, who can understand how this character is a little bit better, or like who has their teammates nearby that can like maybe
capitalize this one doing it.
Yeah. So and again, it was just like a weekend playtest thing. Obviously, once they officially release him, he'll probably get nerfed or buffed or whatever they want to do. I don't think he'll get like a rework. I don't think they're in the business of wanting to do reworks.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, he looked fine.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think he's going to be like everyone's first pick. Granted, once they officially release him, but he'll get that buzz of like people wanting to play him because he's the new shiny new toy. But like I don't think he's going to like change the game. I think he might get people to come in and start playing again, who maybe have been lapsed. I don't know if he's going to be the tank that makes people switch off a DPS to go and play tank. I definitely think that him being a little bit more mobile, like and agile, definitely gives people who maybe didn't want to try tank, because tanks are kind of slow sometimes. All they really do is, take in a lot of hits. They don't really do a whole lot of damage unless like you're Reinhardt and you're like right there. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. like I said, for now, if I had to give him like a ranking out of 10, probably like a 7.
Really, that good?
Maybe a 6. I don't know. Like he's very like middle of the road. I think he's like fine. He's not the worst tank, but he's definitely not the best tank. Don't ask me which.
You said he's more like an off tank, right? Like
yeah,
kinda...
basically, yeah. He feels like he's just kind of there to like disrupt.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
But again, that could also be like that would make sense, right? Because his whole character is like he's kind of punkish.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Once he gets added in, I'll probably play him a lot more.
Mm.
Just to get more of a feel.
Right.
But like I said, he's cool. He's all right. He can hang, I guess. He can sit. He can sit at the table.
Sit at the table.
He can sit at the
It's
table.
cool.
Anyway, I guess my last little bit of news is I guess the one that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit more because I think I have more of an opinion. Not that I didn't have an opinion on Hazard. It's just that I look at the Overwatch stuff as like somebody who like kind of exclusively plays quick play. So like I'm only really thinking about quick play compositions, and quick play compositions is like who really cares? Like
Right.
you're kind of just playing whoever you want to play.
As a hobby.
Yeah, it's like a hobby. Whereas comp is like you play competitive. It's like you're trying to pick out the best loadout and like or the best team composition to like do well.
Yeah.
I don't really care about stuff like that. I'm not a very competitive gamer in that sense. But this is Pokemon news. It's a Pokemon TCG Pocket.
Yeah.
I think it was one of our first podcasts that we did. We actually gave it like a little tiny review of the beta.
Episode 0.
Yeah, I think it was episode 0.
Yeah.
It was definitely 0 or 1. But we basically gave our first impressions of like the beta because the beta was out at the time. Since then, the game is fully released, and that game has made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Too much money. Granted, I get it, but like it also seems like that's a lot of money
I think
in a very short amount of time.
You said the number and I was like, what?
And granted, again, this is old news, so it's probably only gone up. But at the time that it was being reported, it was over $120 million.
Yeah, for it only being out a month.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Now it's been over a month, but like still,
So
that
that's
is crazy.
Still the month milestone. Holy.
And like, I don't want to like dog on it, but like, I think the game's fine. Like, I think it's cool, and obviously the reason I think a lot of people are spending all this money on it is for the collecting aspect of the game
Yeah.
instead of the actual like
Game
I want to
itself.
play the game
Yeah.
aspect of the game. Because like if you really don't care about getting like the super awesome arts, you for the most part you can get the cards that you really need kind of quickly. Not like super easy. Like obviously it's still RNG, right? Like there's still going to be that aspect of it. But if you really just want to try and play the game, like you really don't have to spend all that much money. I think I have only spent like $25, and I've pretty much made all the decks that I want to play, or like the ones that are like super competitive, like that you could realistically, if you wanted to like do well on like the ladder, even though there's not really a ranked ladder.
Yeah,
you can do that. And I'm like $120 million. Like, how many copies of the? Because at the end of the day, right? It's not like you're paying for physical cards. These are just digital.
Yeah,
they could take it down tomorrow
at any time, and you don't have that.
Yeah,
anymore.
and they're just like digital pieces of fake cardboard.
Yeah,
like
it's not even cardboard.
Yeah, it's not even cardboard. It's just like it's a digital JPEG, essentially.
They bought a bunch of NFTs.
I played it for about 2 weeks, and I didn't spend any money on it, but it was fun. It's okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like
it was okay.
Yeah, it's fine for what it is. Like, because at the end of the day, it has to be. And I hate saying dumbed down because it's really not dumbed down. It's like simplistic.
It is.
It's meant for you to like if you're on the toilet and you got like 5 minutes, like bust out your phone and play Pocket while you're on the toilet, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Or if you have a couple of minutes of free time, pull out your phone, play Pocket, open up a pack, whatever. It's a very simple game, at its core. And what I was kind of hoping for, and some people have said that that's the case, is this is like a jumping point for people who actually want to play the card game.
Yeah.
And for some people, it is. It's going to be the jumping off point of like, hey, this is the thing that I want. This is the thing I thought was cool. I like the collecting aspect. I thought the game was simple enough. Maybe I go and I try the actual TCG, and then they can download Pokemon Trade Card Game Live. Heaven forbid, they do that. Because everybody has their problems with TCG Live. I have my own problems with TCG Live. I don't hate Live as much as everybody. It seems like everybody hates Live, but I think for me, it's gotten to the point for TCG Live in particular where it's just like, it's been this way for so long. It doesn't feel like they're going to do anything about it, so you should probably just move on. Which, granted, is the wrong way of looking at it, right? You shouldn't be like, well, that's just the way things, that's just the way things are. Move on. But at the same time, it's just like there's not really anything else to do besides get paper cards and play with your friends.
Yeah.
Which you should be doing that anyways. Get always, if you can, play paper. Just get your paper cards and play with your friends. But not everybody has that. Not everybody has a local game store that they can go to.
Not everybody has friends.
Yeah, not everybody has friends. Some people are loners and antisocial or just not sociable at all. And like the idea of going to a local game store kind of scares them.
Yeah.
So if they could just play their digital cards on their digital platform, and play Pokemon, they'll do that. But when the digital client looks like a steaming pile of dog turds,
yeah.
That's not fun. People want to look like.
Yeah, that's rough.
And back to the other, it's not going to be around forever. And it's like you don't own those. I mean,
it's all just like digital stuff.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, right? Like again, going back to Pocket and the $120 million, I can understand $120 million for like Pokemon cards, like physical cards that you can own and have, and like that's it. But like again, you're going back to Pocket, and it's like these are digital cards.
Yeah.
Digital cards with no value.
Yeah.
Realistically, besides the money that you put in.
Yeah.
But it's not like you could trade these for real dollars unless you sell your account.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's against like terms of service or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a rule for that.
Probably.
But it's just like, man, I mean, it's so weird, right? Because like on one hand, it's like I want the game to do good because I want more people to try the TCG, and if this is a way for people to try the TCG, more power to Pokemon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like the it seems so money grabby, like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and
we
and
talked
that's
about
the
that
thing.
a little bit before.
And that's the
when
thing,
it first
right? It's
came
like
out, yeah.
it's like these gotcha games. That's the whole thing, right? They're trying to get the people who can't really control themselves. Who is like, oh man, I get okay, one more pack. That whole mindset. Okay, one more pack. Well, I got something here. One more pack. The people, the gamblers. The people who enjoy that kind of like rush. And when you're a company that mostly targets towards kids, because let's be real, Pokemon's it's a trading card game. It's a video game series meant for kids.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a grown adult and I like Pokemon, I think we can all say we like Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's mostly targeted towards kids. And when you have a game that's like this, that is kind of predatory towards, getting the cards that you need to play the games that you want, where you kind of have to spend the money or else you're just going to be having a hard time. Like, I think another thing that was reported was that if you spent no money at all to complete the current set of Pokemon, I think it was something like it was going to take you like 3 years to do it. Like just naturally do it.
3 years?
Yeah, it was some ridiculous number of how long it would actually take you to get every single card if you didn't spend any money. And the fact that it takes that long is kind of ridiculous.
When someone can spend the money and finish it in a month.
in a month or
less,
like a week, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And I think another thing that I don't like about it is, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but like there's one set, but it's split into like 3 sets. So it's all genetic Apex, but you have the Mewtwo packs, the Pikachu packs, and the Charizard packs. And depending on which pack you get is depending on what cards you get.
What set out of that set.
Yeah. And inherently, that's a good thing. But when you're trying to just, and when I say inherently good, I mean like if you want to build, if you want to build a Charizard deck, go to the Charizard packs and get, try to hope and see if you can get the same thing with the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo deck, go and get those packs, whatever, Pikachu, etc. But I don't know. It just seems kind of like, because like sometimes like certain cards that you would need in other decks, they're in a pack that you probably wouldn't think would need to be in that. Like I think was it Staryu? Staryu, like you want to use for your Articuno deck, but the Articuno is in the Mewtwo pack and the Staryu EX is in the Charizard pack.
Oh,
I see what you mean.
So it's like if you want to build a decent Articuno deck, you have to open 2 different packs, and then you have to hope that you pull them instead of just being like, hey, if we had a pack specifically that had Articuno and Staryu EX, because they work together, like now you have to open 2 packs and then with different pull pull rates, because they have to take into account the Charizard cards and the Mewtwo cards that are in there and all the other things that are in there, you know. it's going to be a little bit harder. And
Yeah.
granted, again, all of this is just like complaints from a person who doesn't really want to spend money where he doesn't really need to spend money. You know,
Sure. Well, I mean, it's also that's something that's a kind of an issue with a lot of TCG. I mean, you can't just most games out there. You can't just okay, I'm gonna buy this one set and I'll be able to make a pretty good deck with just this one set.
Yep.
You know, it's like no, I got to go look for okay. Well, you need your standards, so you got to go buy these. And you need these, and you got to go these. I mean, this is
You got
not just
expansions
not
or-
just Pokemon Pocket, but I mean like live or playing paper cards or whatever. You have to go through 3-4 sets sometimes just to make a deck, and it's just like, well, it's kind of crappy sometimes when you're not maybe your local game store or wherever you're getting your cards from, they might not have that what you're looking for, so you're forced to buy singles, and then it gets more expensive. So I'm on the boat with you on that one.
and I even think like again going back to like the collector's aspect, it's like I don't see the. I guess other than to like show off, I don't see the appeal of like trying to complete your master set of like, hey, I got every single card of this digital card game. Like,
oh yeah.
Because again, it's just like you're spending all this money. You don't own these cards. Like they could shut down the game 2 years from now, and all of a sudden, all that money that you just spent is just gone.
Yeah.
Like I guess going on the same kind of like thought process, Nintendo just shut down Animal Crossing Pocket Camp
Oh yeah.
on the App Store, and now there's so the people who spent money on that game, and that game might have been out for like 7 years or something like that.
They're not. That's
All of a sudden now all that stuff that they bought is just gone, and now they're selling the game with everything in it for like $20.
Yeah.
So the people who spent all that money
Over the years.
people could just get it for like $20.
Yeah.
Granted, I think right now it's on sale for like 10, but it'll go to 20 after a certain amount of time, or like I think at the end of the new year or something. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get it. Like if I'm real, like just to have it, because I tried playing Pocket Camp like once, and it just wasn't for me. But I also just think Animal Crossing is not really for me. Again, that's a conversation for like a different day. But like it's that idea, right? It's just something can happen tomorrow, and they're like, hey, we're just gonna shut down the game. All this money that you put into it, is just gone. Like I think another good example, I guess, keeping in the same like trading card game-esque like thing is what was the name of that game? Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Duel. It was that mobile game.
Oh, yeah.
It was out for like a year, not
They
even a
shut it
year.
down. Yeah, it wasn't.
And
even
they
a
just
year.
shut it down because it wasn't meeting expectations.
Yeah.
And granted, I think that's a realistic reason to like shut down a game, right? If it's not performing well, like shut it down. But I think specifically Yu-Gi-Oh's always had that problem of kind of being a little too greedy with their monetization. Because you go to Master Duel, right? In order to make a semi-competitive deck in like any like for like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, like you're gonna have to spend money, regardless of unless you grind like every day, do every single challenge to get all the free gems. You're more than likely gonna spend money to like get the cards that you need, especially when you're trying to make the good decks that use like URs, and URs being the most like egregious thing to get in the game because you need so many.
Yeah.
And like you barely get enough, and then like when you do get some, you have to convert that into dust to get the actual UR cards that you want, but it's not enough UR dust to make the card that you want, so you have to pull like another 3 URs just to make the 1 UR. It's again, it's a whole process, and like that's why I hate Master Duel to an extent. But like I don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh to me has always been like that, right? Like it's always been this like. And granted, I like Yu-Gi-Oh as like a concept. Same thing with Pokemon. I'm not dogging on any of these companies like or brands because like I think that they're money grabbing, like they just want to squeeze people out for like every single dollar that they have. I do think they have good intentions, right? And they do have to monetize the game to a degree, but like I don't think it should be this hard to do the things that you want to do, because at the end of the day, the people who want to play those decks just want to play the game.
Sure.
They might necessarily care about opening up the packs to get those cards. They just want the cards to play the game. So if you can make it easier for just to get those cards, you should probably just do that. But again, if they didn't have the packs, they wouldn't be able to make money. And if they didn't have money, the game probably just shut down.
Yeah.
That's everything comes back full circle when it comes to stuff like that.
Well, I mean, even if like you don't want to think of it as a money grab or whatever, you know, when you're playing the paper version, I guess, or, you know, real life version, it's like you said, you get to keep the cards. You know, whether you're a collector, whether you're a player, you actually get to physically hold something that you bought, and you have that. And whether it's, you know, valuable or not valuable anymore, you know, that's neither here nor there. But I think that's a problem with these types of games and these types of TCG things. Is you have the game, and it's like, okay, we're gonna make this video game or this, you know, online game, and now you got to go spend all this money on this. But you may have all the meta decks for all, say, every meta Pokemon deck that's out right now, and it's like, but I want to play these decks on here where you now get to spend the money, like almost double what you spent in real life just to get them. Unless you're like talking about Master Duel, unless you're going to grind out, like play it nonstop all the time. And so no, I think that's an issue as well. I mean, I would love to see companies just be like, okay, well, hey, you own the cards in real life. You know, you can, I don't know, scan them in, have some type of little scan code, something, you know, just, and you get them in game, you know, just because you spent money we're making this game, you know, as a online way to play. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I know no company's never going to do that, but
like Amiibo.
Yeah, well, sort of, I guess, but
Amiibo cards.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
technically,
what I mean?
yeah,
Just like,
yeah.
just
Cool.
hey, I bought them. You know, I spent hundreds of dollars on this one deck.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, can I just like, hey, can I use this deck online? You know, because I own it now, and that's something that's always bothered me. It's like, man, you gotta, and then it's not just the issue of it being like just one game. Like Yu-Gi-Oh's had multiple games.
Yeah,
right. You know,
yeah, because they have Master Duel. Like I said, they had that cross duel.
But
They
before
had
Master Duel was Duel Links.
Yeah.
Or is that
Duel Links.
Yeah.
Duel Links.
Granted, that was more like speed duels, but at the same time, they were also releasing speed duel cards. So
True,
like,
yeah. I mean, so you're still buying cards, and so it's just like, man, like, yeah, that's.
I don't think there'll ever be like a fix for that. Because I feel like
it's just
One-
they're making
one-
too much money.
yeah, one, because they're making too much money, and like two, it would just be kind of a hassle for them to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I think Pokemon has like a semi-realistic idea where it's like, hey, you buy a pack in real life, and here's the QR code to get a pack in the digital game. Like it's like a trade-off. You don't get the exact same cards,
but you get a pack.
but you get a pack, and maybe you get something from that pack.
Yeah.
Is it like foolproof? Like, are you going to get the, you know, by doing that, are you going to get the cards that you would want to make a deck? Probably not.
No. But you may get cards that you don't have in real life, and that, you know, may have been better, you know, than what you have in real life. So I forgot about Pokemon. That's right. So yeah, I mean,
and again, another thing that I will say is that, you know, I know I was talking about how live looks, Pokemon TCG Live, I should say, how it looks, but there are things about live that I do enjoy. Like I do like that you could just craft cards, and it's relatively simple to craft cards. Like, you don't really have to do much as long as you like log in and do like the daily challenges, like, and get your one tier in your battle
you'll have
pass.
enough of the
You'll eventually get enough stuff to make the cards that you want. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh, like I said, Master Duel is just like is the hardest thing to like make the cards that you want. Like, and it kind of like puts me off of like wanting to play it, because I'm just like, I either have to grind
or spend money.
as many hours, or I have to spend money.
Yeah,
and it's like, it is a turnoff. You know, I don't want to have to spend money like on.
Why would you want to spend money on that when there's new Overwatch skins?
Well, not even that, but it's like, why would I spend money on that when I could just buy the paper cards and try to play IRL?
Yeah.
Like,
True.
You know, like, and same thing with Pokemon. It's just like, how much money? Like, granted, again, it's not as egregious, but like, I remember when it was still a trading card game online.
Yeah, and
you would have to buy code cards, and then you would have to trade the packs to get the cards that you want. And that was a horrible system. That's why I'm like, this card.
I'm so glad.
This card crafting system is way better,
yeah.
And I hate that people like sometimes will like not like it because they're like, oh, it's a trading card game and I can't trade my cards, or I can't actually trade in the game. It's like, dude, like,
it wasn't really trading before. It was people taking advantage of other people.
Yeah, it's basically a stock market. It was basically like, hey, if you have the cards, cool. I want like 100 packs of this one set
for one card.
Yeah, give me. Like,
it's like, what?
It was totally toxic and like definitely not very friendly to anybody who's like just wanting to play the game. Because another thing that online didn't really do well, it was just give people access to like actually like good cards. Like, if you were a beginner going into that like client, like, you had like the worst time, because they would give you decks that were underpowered that you really couldn't take outside of just battling against the AI trainers, because they were just that underpowered.
Yeah.
So live in that sense is better. Granted, I thought, you know, online looked better. But granted, I don't think online looked that great either. Like I think it just from a certain perspective, it just looked better. But I think they both look, like they're not blowing people away, especially like, you know, again, I keep going back to like Master Duel, horrible monetization, like way of doing things, but the game looks good.
It looks good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like to a degree for what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's like I think out of all the clients, but you know, Magic Arena is probably the best looking one. You know?
Yeah.
But
and
like,
then
I
Master
think-
Duel. Yeah.
but Master Duel's like right there. You know, whereas live, it's like live's probably it's in the garbage. Like nobody's like, nobody's like, oh man.
Well, I think we talked about it before it came out. It was like a while before it came out. We were like, well, I hope it looks better than online, right?
Yeah.
And it looks a little better, but
yeah, it looks.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you know, but
I guess it's
polish a
like-
turd. It's still a turd.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, anyway, $120 million, and it's probably only going to make more as time goes on.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe the game will last forever, or maybe they'll shut it down by the end of the year. Probably not.
Hilarious.
Maybe.
Nah, it's making too much money to do that.
Yeah. It was funny talking about the gaming stuff, just like, hey, how games can come and go, right? I think they announced that StarCraft Remaster is coming to PC Game Pass.
Oh yeah, it is.
I was kind of happy about that. I was like, wow, this
Yeah.
is kind of cool. All right, Blizzard, bring some more, because StarCraft's my favorite game of all time. It's just like, wow, I don't have to, you know. I mean, granted, it's cheap if you just go buy it. I already have it, but still. Yeah, that's and then you started talking about Overwatch, and I was like, wow, I've been playing Black Ops like crazy. Black Ops 6. They just started competitive ranked. Just started like 3-4 days ago. Right? So, that's the only thing I've been doing. That's why.
Yeah, that's why he's busy.
That's why I'm busy.
Yep.
Well, Thanksgiving, and then yeah. Anyways.
Priorities.
Which fair enough.
It's
So-
funny. I was gonna ask you guys how was your Thanksgiving, but I was like, I know how y'all's
Yeah.
Thanksgiving was because I was there.
Yeah, I was at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Wish you were there.
Yeah,
Hey, but
whatever. Money's money, right?
money's money.
Yeah, money's
Yeah.
money. You get that bread.
Yeah, I am.
You know, you should never stop somebody from getting the bread.
Exactly.
No.
Because if the early bird gets you the worm, Vic can get the bread.
Let's go.
I don't know where I was
I
going
don't know
with
where
that.
you're
but
going
like,
with that, but okay.
but
Hey, I
whatever.
went with it.
Anyway, well, I guess we should just get into the main topic.
Yeah.
Live. We didn't watch it live. We watched it literally right before we were about
Live.
to shoot this. But from Vancouver, Canada, WWE Survivor
Let's see.
Series War Games
And it,
2024.
I don't even think we saw a series on it. It just said Survivor War Games.
No, it's Survivor Series War Games.
Oh,
Survivor is the series.
yeah, but I didn't see.
War
It
Game is
didn't
the-
say Survivor Series. This is Survivor War Game.
Yeah, whatever. War Games.
Whatever. Yeah,
War
War
Games.
Games. I mean, gotta
Which there were
enunciate
only
the
really
war
two
games
war
really, really hard.
games.
Yeah, but like, that's all you would like. Vic, the amount of people that would be at that, like, if imagine they had War Games, every match was War Games.
That's what I was saying. I thought it was going to be like that. I didn't
No,
know they were going
that's
to have
50
individual
people.
I didn't know they were going to have individual matches. That's what I was
no,
like, oh, wow.
no, that'd be insane if every match was a War Games match.
It just
That pay per view would be forever. That'd be a long pay per view.
into a battle royale.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway,
I don't know. Yeah.
I guess the first thing I'll ask is how do I want to word this?
We can start with the first match.
No, but first off, I guess the thing I'll ask is, what were y'all's thoughts going into this? Because you had never seen War Games ever, and you hadn't seen wrestling in like 10 years.
In a while, even longer.
So like,
Yeah.
I just want you like your initial thoughts of like what you guys were going to think about going into this.
So, funny enough, when we first planned to do this, I thought when you said Survivor, I was like, "Oh, cool, we're gonna watch the Survivor."
Like the
I
show,
the reality show. Oh man, that's funny.
I forgot, and then I forgot we were gonna do this, and then we brought it up again. I was like, "Oh, it's a wrestling thing." I was still gonna watch it. But it completely threw off my game. I'm like, oh, it's a wrestling thing. Cool. Yeah, I thought it was gonna just be, I thought
we just said Survivor.
yeah, because you guys just said, oh, we're gonna watch Survivor, and then you didn't say anything else when you brought it up. So I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna watch. And it was right after we talked about like actual Survivor Series. We were on the topic of that. So when you said we should watch Survivor, I thought he was jumping off of that topic. So
To talk about Survivor.
Yeah, because we were talking about Survivor. I forget.
Yeah, because I'm just a huge fan of Survivor.
That's
yeah. Survivor the
TV show.
The TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and then when he said that, it just
That's funny.
it was not made clear at the time, but then before I was like, oh yeah, we're talking about wrestling.
So yeah, just to be clear, we watched Survivor Series Wargames.
WWE.
Yeah, E, hard E. Okay.
Yeah, we have to say that.
Yeah, you got to get the F out.
So yeah. So not watching Survivor Series in a long time. It was fun. I hadn't watched wrestling consistently in years, probably about a decade, probably actually more than a decade. And just catching it here and there. But it was pretty much different people in the ring, but pretty much the same. You know, had some cool moments, had some, just okay moments, and it was fun.
You recognized a lot of moves that they just renamed.
That's most, yeah. I knew almost every move that was there, other than a couple maybe.
Which is cool because I was seeing it. I'm like, wow, that's a cool move, and then you're like, oh, there's that move. I'm like, yeah, and then you were like, yeah, but they
just rebranded it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's it was fun. It was overall experience was enjoyable. I'd do it again. We'll watch. I don't mind watching more.
Yeah, as resident wrestling guy, I was kind of just hoping that you guys enjoyed yourself.
It was fun.
And granted, I'll ask that at the very end, even though Vic just spoiled it.
I had fun.
But I'll get a more in-depth answer towards the end.
Yeah.
But I just wanted y'all's first impressions, because again, you hadn't watched wrestling in years. Same for you.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who watches it semi-weekly,
Yeah.
right? I at least keep up with what's going on. It's interesting for to see people's reactions of who haven't been in the know or don't know what's going on.
Well, I was worried about that because when we were talking about it coming up, you were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be this whole thing, and I was like, oh, I don't know what the storyline is. I don't know what's happening at all. And then thankfully, before we started, you're like, here, watch this 5-minute video.
But not only that, but I think the commentary did a decent job of explaining stuff while it was going on.
It did had some backstory
Because and this is the thing I think I've tried to explain to you. It's every wrestling show has to be treated like it's someone's first wrestling show. So you need to have that context of why does CM Punk and Roman Reigns hate each other? Again, we'll get to that when we get there. But why are these people beefing each other? Or why is this happening? And why is this happening? Or why is he selling his leg, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Context is everything when it comes to pro wrestling. So when you have a show, especially a pay-per-view like this, right? And people, because there's gonna be people, kind of like us, or I guess y'all, because I do it all the time, but who maybe they just have Peacock and they're like, hey, there's this wrestling thing, let's just watch it. It's free. It's with our subscription. Let's just do it. So having the the commentary team, Michael Cole and Corey Graves, kind of explaining things to give you some context, but not over explaining it, right? They give you enough to where it makes sense, but they'll
mention something.
Yeah, but they don't give you enough to where you feel like you need to go and watch everything. Now, if you enjoy yourself and you want to go and dig deeper than that, you're more than welcome to go and do that. But somebody who maybe just wants to turn it on for the first time is just hey, this is the story that they're telling. This is where we're going. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go.
Well, what I liked is they also had a small recap for all 5 matches in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, oh, they're basically outlining which matches are happening, but then they're also kind of talking a little bit of what led up to that moment. So I thought that was helpful too.
There was a couple of times where they would mention something to be like, oh, okay, there's a little aha moment, oh, okay, that's why that's happening, or this is why this person doesn't like this person, or like I said, keeping up with it a little bit. I knew some names a little bit, but not knowing who's associated with who. Does that person like this person? That's what was the whole thing for me. I kept asking Ruben, wow, why doesn't he like him? Who is he related to? Who is he associated with?
It was kind of hard for me to explain the entire bloodline.
Yeah. That was
The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Again, we'll get to that. That was the main event.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll just start off with the first match. We'll just go chronologically.
Ladies War Games.
Yeah, it was women's War Games.
So women's War Games.
Yeah, women's War Games. It was Team Good Guys versus Team Bad Guys.
Yep.
It was Bailey, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. Oh, and Io Sky.
Io Sky, yeah. Io
She's a
Sky.
trash can spot. I was like, who's missing?
Trash can lady.
Yeah, trash.
Io Sky, right?
Io Sky.
Io
Yes.
Sky, yeah.
Versus Team Bad Guys, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae.
Yeah. I like to, in my head, I'd be like Team Rainbow versus Team Black and White.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
It was team matching. It was
Colorful
team matching gear
versus
versus
unmatching.
team
Yeah.
unmatching.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought the match was more entertaining than I thought it was going to be.
It was kind of slow in the beginning, but
I feel like all again, we'll get to the men's war. But the men's war games was also kind of slow at the begining.
yeah,
To a
but
degree.
like from the beginning of the women's to like the end of the women's, they were good. Now that I'm more aware of what was happening, they were definitely buying time.
Well, yeah, because like for three
Yeah.
of the participants, they were trying to find something under the ring that I think they just gave up on it. I forget who was this like the second person to come in. Like it was
Wasn't it Bianca? Or Naomi.
It was Naomi.
Naomi. Yeah,
Naomi.
she was looking like really,
she was looking. No, it wasn't Naomi. It would
No,
have been
no,
after Naomi.
it was the
no, I think it
purple
was
hair.
Bianca. No,
The purple hair. The purple hair.
Oh, Candice
girl.
LeRae. Yes, Candice LeRae. Yeah. So she comes in fourth, and she's looking for something under the ring, and she can't find it. And I like I'm 100% certain that there was something that they were looking for. It just was not.
Couldn't find it.
It was not in the place that it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And because she wasn't in there yet, it looked like some of the. That's what I asked you. Like, oh, some of these moves look like. I was like thinking the whole, okay, it's the whole wrestling. Like, oh, they're gonna pull some punches or something like that. But
Well, 'cause,
it looked like they were just trying to buy time.
Well, yeah, because like as she's going and look, 'cause she takes like a minute
Yeah.
to go and find whatever the thing is that is under the ring. Naya's like giving these chair shots to Bailey and Naomi that are in the ring,
yeah,
and they kind of like look like they're kind of like phoning it in. Like they don't know what's going on, and they're just trying to buy time for Candice to go and find whatever. And she just
it's like they weren't ready yet for that portion, or something went wrong, and so they were kind of like at one portion it was just, this is the only, not really problem, but the only thing I was like wow, what's going on? Because it was like, it looked like someone was supposed to be, I think it was Bailey. She was supposed to be in one position, but she wasn't there yet, so like she didn't get a chair shot.
She was supposed to take a chair shot because again I think Nia was buying time. But
like, it looked like she would have hit her in the head. So
she was
like
out of position to take the chair shot.
It's understandable, but whatever.
I remember that because she went like and then she changed to the side swipe.
Yeah, and I hate saying this because I don't want to sound like I hate women or anything, but like a lot of the times when something goes wrong in like a women's match where it's like heavily scripted, like where they have planned spots like this, they have a hard time just doing something on the fly, like. Like especially with like Money in the Bank, like because that's another big thing, right? There's anywhere between 6 to 8 people in that match. A lot of people going in, they do their spots, and eventually someone's crowned the winner. But if one thing goes wrong, and all of a sudden they can't like figure it out on the fly. It's like, no, this is how it's supposed to go, and all of a sudden now something goes. Granted, that's not everybody. Some people are pretty good at adapting on the fly.
Right.
But it just seemed like this situation, I don't know if it was like important because again, after Candice goes in, I forget who comes in after her from the good guys team. They also go and I think look for it.
Yeah.
Like, and they can't find it. And then after they go, the other person tries to find it and they just give up. And like,
well, it was after Candice, it was Io. Because she looked under the first ring, and she had to run all the way around to the other ring to get the trash can that she was looking for, or something.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, it seemed like a lot of time was spent for them looking for things under the ring, and that wasn't just. We'll get to the men's as well, but it was just like that seemed like a lot of wasted time that could have been spent in the ring. But at the same time, noticing that I don't know if they have an issue with like pacing, but like the 3 minutes of them having to go in there is like the first ones are going to have to work so much. So it's like what I think should have
poor Bailey, dude.
What I think should like actually happen in these events, or what would be a better thing is if, as someone who hasn't watched this a lot, I'm just giving my stupid opinion on it, but the people who have more stamina and who can last longer, go in the beginning so you can still do some have some decent moves going on and take your time and get hurt and rest and this and that, but make it not. So it's like, okay, well, you're going to be so spent by the time the fourth person or fifth person gets there. It's going to be like, man, you're not gonna have anything else to give,
Yeah, you're all gassed out.
Yeah, that's put the better cardio people in the beginning, put the people who get gassed out, at the end of it. But I know that's not good for TV or good for story.
I think I timed it in my head. It'd be from the very start. You'd have to, whoever goes in there first has to wait 26 minutes for it to be finally, hey, War Games has started. Now you can tap somebody out.
Yeah, because it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minminutes, and then
it's 3 minutes for every. It's like, so it's 3 minutes for every.
Yeah.
And that's 8 people, so it's like 24, right? Because 8 times
3, 24,
plus the 5 at the beginning,
29. So 29 minutes.
So 29 minutes for basically everybody to get in,
Yeah,
and then an extra 10 minutes to do the rest of the match.
Yeah,
roughly. So it's like 40 minutes ish.
Yeah.
Granted, the amount of stamina you would need to do that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it was okay. It was decent. It was a good enough match. It was okay.
Yeah,
like I said, slow start, but
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was entertaining. I had fun, especially once everybody gets in, because that's obviously that's when the match starts. Everybody can actually do stuff. That's what they want to do. All the big spots, the tables. And, EO Sky with her iconic, put on her trash can and dive, and then Tiffany Stratton and Swanton.
That's what I'm saying. They did the thing at the same time.
It was
a good shot.
It was two at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Who was it? Who was
Tiffany.
the other one? Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, and again, they did something with Tiffany. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna cash in Money in the Bank." It's funny, while that was going on, I had to explain to these guys what Money in the Bank was, because they didn't know what Money in the Bank was.
I was like, "Oh, she's got a box."
Yeah.
Did she have that, or she got it?
She had it. She won it.
It was hers?
Yeah, it was hers.
Oh, okay.
She won that back in...
But did she put that trash can in there, or was it somebody else?
I don't remember. It was probably her.
I don't remember either. That's all I could think about when she was digging through it. I was like, I don't think
somebody
she
brought
that
it
in that trash can.
Somebody else brought that in. I can't remember who, but she did not bring that in.
No.
Anyway. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Women's War Games, I don't know. It was fine. It was pretty good.
Don't quote me.
Yeah. To be fair, like I said, we're recording this immediately after we finish.
Yeah,
but that was the first match that happened. So that was to us, that was like 3 hours ago.
That was 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
So
I still remember. I was just trying to pull.
I remember bits and pieces.
What was most interesting?
But that's most wrestling, right? It's like you're gonna remember the things that you really remember.
Yeah.
Like I said, we very vividly remember EO Sky jumping off the top of the rope, top of the cage in the trash can.
In a trash can. Never seen that before. That was funny.
Naya's complete decimation of the other team.
Right? Like, it was just like,
holy moly.
Oh, look, I'm going to hit you. No, I'm not. I'm going to hit you with a chair. No, you're not. It was just like, I'm going to throw you across the ring like a rag doll.
She beat up everybody from the opposite team that came up.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, yeah, she's the big bad guy.
She's a big bad guy.
Yeah. She's supposed to look strong, powerful.
Yeah.
And that's what she is.
And rude.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, I was like, wow, I don't like her. She looks rude. And Ruben's like, well, she's a bad guy. I was like, oh.
Yeah, they're bad people.
Okay, well then.
Yeah, it's like later in the show, Vic was like, why are they throwing him into the cage? It's like, it's the bad guys. Of course they're going to throw him into the cage. Like, that's supposed to be fair.
Yep.
Damn.
Anyway, if you guys had to give a star rating to that match, what would you give it?
Out of what?
I like 5. Just 5 stars.
Out of 5 stars. I would give it like a 3.
You're like a 2.5.
Damn, not that low. I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
3.5. It wasn't my favorite.
Okay, the first half of the match 2.5, the last half of the match 3.5.
If the beginning, if they had found the thing that they wanted to find in the beginning, and it wasn't so slow paced in the part that we all know, I would have given it higher.
I think that it would have been the same for like someone who had never seen wrestling before at all.
Yeah, and
they watched that as the first match for the Survivor Series, and they that first half they would have been like, well, what the heck is this? What's going on? Like I don't,
because that did happen with you guys. It was like, what's going on? But then when they finally kicked it into gear,
yeah.
I've watched enough wrestling over the years to know, like, okay, sometimes this happens, and like kind of,
Yeah, in the beginning, I was like, this looks exactly how
you thought it would.
Well, I was like, yeah, it's all theater. Like they're not actually gonna hit each other. And then pick it up. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and then Rhea Ripley starts giving out her headbutts.
Yeah.
With her skull. Yeah.
Oh, and then the bat shots to Rhea.
Oh, and that was
with the bat.
That was pretty
hardcore.
Yeah,
that was pretty hardcore.
Pretty good.
Like just straight like bat shots to like her abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny when they were giving kendo shots to Naya, and she was just looking at him. It was just like you're not hurting her at all.
Anyway.
Like, yeah.
Anyway, if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like 3 3/4 of a star.
Yeah.
Almost 4, but like not there.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's cool.
All right. Well, next match was Shinsuke Nakamura, and he won.
Oh, who won the War Games? Women.
Oh, it was the Team Good Guys.
Yeah.
Team Good Guys.
Team Good Guys.
Rhea
Team
Ripley.
Rhea. I think
Team
that's actually what
Rhea.
they were called. Team Rhea.
Yeah.
Was the actual name. Anyway, they win.
Yeah.
Like I said, 3 3/4 star from me, and whatever you guys said.
We're almost there.
I'd say 3.
Yeah.
I'd say 3.
He said next match.
Yeah. Next match,
Shinsuke.
Shinsuke Nakamura winning the United States Championship off of LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. That was hilarious, by the way.
It was
Um,
great.
I know. I that was another thing I explained. I was like, yeah, it's LA Knight, and then he has this like thing, and he goes, yeah.
yeah, the amount of yas in that match.
Well, there was that point where he's like hitting Shinsuke's head on the
Yeah.
ring apron, and
Yeah.
everyone's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was funny.
I was gonna say like that's entertaining. Like it's
Yeah.
a simple thing, but it's super entertaining. It gets people involved. It's pretty cool.
Shinsuke's face got really red at some point, and I was a bit worried. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
is he okay?
It was an interesting match. I had to ask Ruben. I was like, "What?" I don't know if it was an optical illusion, but the guy looked really tall because of the outfit. I wasn't digging the outfit too much. It really bothered me. It bothered me a little bit because his legs looked like double the length of his torso, so he looked really tall. So
I think he's just tall.
I think he's tall.
I'm pretty sure he's just tall. I don't think he's like 6'4", but he's definitely like 6 foot something.
He's over
pretty-
6
pretty
feet,
tall.
so yeah, he's not.
Well, I don't know. I'm 6'1", and he looked tall. He looked taller to me. I don't know, but anyways, that's just something.
So he might be 6'2".
Yeah. Lord.
I would say this is probably the weakest match on the card.
Really?
Well, I
don't agree with
nothing too memorable happened.
Like I think I know
There were some good moves.
I think I know what yours is.
We're not there yet, but yeah.
We're not there yet, but I think I know what yours is. But like and again, we'll get to that when we get to that. But like I don't know, I feel like there's not a whole lot like happened besides like some funny like spots. I thought the actual finish of the match was really good.
Yeah, the last half of the match was pretty good. But I mean, it, slow start,
Yeah.
had a decent finish, and I don't know. I thought they did some good moves, and got the crowd going a little bit.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but
But I know what you mean.
Yeah. Just because I'm saying it's the weakest doesn't mean it's a bad match. Like,
Yeah.
but it's perfectly fine. And I think what it is that I don't think this match needed to be on pay-per-view. Like I don't think
okay.
I don't think I would have
Sure.
like I don't think I would have like if I was like a big I mean I'm a big WWE fan, but like if I like had to like if I had to pay to watch Survivor Series, I wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, I gotta watch Survivor Series because I really want to see LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Granted, both of them are really good wrestlers.
Yeah.
I think they did. Like I said, I think they did a pretty decent job for what they did. But
Or at least maybe build their story up a little bit better. I mean, because it wasn't a huge story between them, right?
No,
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. Like I said, nothing too memorable besides like the actual finish. I didn't think they were.
I didn't think they were going to
let
him win.
I didn't think they were going to let Shinsuke win.
Yeah,
because like I said, he just came back. He's been back like less than a month, I think.
Well, how like I said in the commentary, they were saying like, oh yeah, Shinsuke's been training for this. How can you lose? Like, how can you lose after you've been training for so and so? So I was like, okay, so
yeah.
So he's been on a training arc.
Yeah.
Yeah,
his Naruto training arc.
Very Naruto training. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I thought it was the weakest match. Like I said, nothing too memorable, but it wasn't bad. I would give it like I don't know, like 3.5.
I'll give it mid, like a 3.
Yeah, because I was like, I gave the women's War Games 3 and 3 3/4. I was like, if I give it this 3.5, and I said it was the worst thing on the thing.
Yeah, that's.
I'll go in the middle. 3.
3.
I thought 3. I think 3 is fair.
3 is fair.
Yeah. Like I said,
it was about the same for me. This one for the women's.
Okay.
Nothing
cool.
Yeah.
Really?
It was about the same.
I guess wrestling's subjective, so it doesn't really matter.
It's about the same.
All right. Well, next match. All right. Next match was. What was the next match? Oh, it was the Intercontinental Triple Threat match.
Mm-hmm.
Between
Sheamus.
Ludwig Kaiser, Sheamus, and the Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker. And before we got to the main event, this was the best match of the show.
Agreed.
This was the most entertaining match
Other than the main event, yeah.
of the show.
Yeah.
It wasn't 5 stars or anything like that, but it was very entertaining.
Close, yeah.
These guys did not understand how much of a freak of nature Braun Breaker actually is.
Yeah.
And I think this match showed like just anybody else.
Yeah,
Like,
on
how
multiple
crazy he
occasions,
is.
Ruben was like, "Hey, you gotta watch this guy. He's really fast." And I'm like, "Yeah,
You
okay."
gotta watch him run around the ring. You
I've
gotta
seen
watch him
fast
run
guys
around the
before
ring.
in wrestling. I mean, he's a pretty, big dude, but it's just like, I understand the fastness. Okay, cool. Let's see what he does. And it was just, I don't know. It was really, really, really interesting. It was good and
He
interesting.
really launches himself.
Oh yeah, when he gives that like one of the final spears of the match, and he just jumps over like Sheamus
Yeah.
while he's on the ground to spear Ludwig Kaiser.
I think the best part of the match for me was when he did the shoulder tackle outside the ring, because they were doing something. Sheamus and Ludwig were there, and the
framing
camera is just facing that way, and you just see him come like just fly past the camera and do a shoulder tackle. It was so great.
good.
And,
It was so good.
maybe we'll pop up the reaction there or something. Just to,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
it
we
was really,
popped. I
really
think we
good.
popped pretty hard for that.
That was really good.
I also think this had one of the best like false finishes of the night, where
Oh.
Braun's going for the spear,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and then Sheamus moves out of the way. He hits the chair that he set up in the turnbuckle, and then he falls out, and then Sheamus goes for the
Ludwig.
this is Braun. This is right before, but before that. So yeah, Braun goes to the turnbuckle, hits his head through the chair.
Mhm.
Sheamus hits the Brogue kick, goes for the pin, and then Ludwig Kaiser pulls out the ref.
pulls out the ref. Yeah, but didn't he hit? Okay, that chair that was placed there. Who placed that? there?
Ludwig did.
Yeah, Ludwig did.
He did place it
Yeah,
there.
Ludwig placed that one.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, but it got never used because
That's right. That was the beginning.
'Cause
of
they
the
then
match. So,
started-
Yeah,
Yeah, that actually got me. I legit thought that was gonna be. The
you
end.
thought? Yeah,
I thought that was it. Like, because like, and that's the thing they played up on commentary, right? It's like it's the one championship he hasn't gotten in his entire WWE career. This is the only thing he needs. Like, and then
yeah. No, I saw your face. That's what I was like, man. This is. You were like, oh, they're gonna give it to him, and then it was like, pull the ref out.
Granted,
Like,
I don't think they'll ever give it to him. Like,
no.
I think it's gonna be one of those things. That's just he's never gonna get it, and it's kind of sad, but it is what it
Sheamus.
is.
Yeah.
I hope he gets it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be super happy if
Hey.
he got it. But yeah, this was. I was the most sports entertained watching this match until we got to the main event.
This
But the main
match
event was
fun.
The main event's like, I think for the main event, if you understand that entire story,
Yeah.
that's probably more satisfying. But if you just watched like if you didn't know anything and you're just watching this for the first time, I do think this triple threat match is probably more entertaining. Like
maybe.
just on a level of like you don't really need a whole lot of understanding to like just enjoy it.
There are multiple times during this match where I was like, oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Well, I mean, that was the same with the last match as well. I mean, because
Yeah.
there were more people to
True.
Yeah, but you also
have more aha moments.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
for
just kind of
like I said, like for the main event, you really need an understanding of like the characters that are involved, like CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and like you need to understand like the bloodline and what's going on. Whereas like this one, it's like you really don't really need to know much. You just know that Sheamus is trying to get that Intercontinental Championship because he's never had it. Ludwig Kaiser cost Sheamus the Intercontinental Championship like when he had a title match for it, and then Braun Breaker's just a freak of nature and he's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you really need to know.
Yeah.
And I think that match, it delivered.
it was good.
Yeah,
It did.
like I
think
said,
they had a good match.
Probably the best match of the night. Like if I for my star rating, if I had to give it a star rating, which I guess we're doing now, we're just gonna give star ratings.
Yeah,
Star
Um,
ratings. Oh, yeah, you started.
I would probably give it 4.
I would give it a 4.
4 and a half. I'll give it a 4.5. I was the most sports entertained on this one.
I'd probably give it 4 1/4.
4 1/4.
4 1/4.
Alright, Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm still going 4. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
Wrestling is subjective.
Yeah. That's the
All
great
right.
thing about it.
And now we have the fourth match, the penultimate match. It was Damian Priest challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I thought that this match, I thought the story that they were telling with the match was better than the story that they were telling with the Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight match.
Yes, I agree.
And I think because of that, I just inherently think it's better than that match. Because they were really telling the story of like, hey, Damian's shoulder's really hurt, and Gunther's taking advantage of that,
Yeah.
and he's doing everything he can to take advantage of that. And then you get to the end, and Damian has basically Gunther on the ropes, but he's still getting injured, and then Finn Balor comes in, does a coup de grace onto Damian Priest on the outside. But Gunther is like, hey, no, I want to do it on my own.
He kicks him in the face.
Kicks Finn Balor in the face, and basically tries to go and finish it. And he basically does. He chokes him out. He wins by submission. Or by knockout, pass out, whatever. But they also play at the very end. He's like over celebrating, being like, "No, I did this. This is mine." Basically playing up the idea.
No, it was a good story. It was a good match, good story lead up to.
I will say this because I'm pretty sure you probably think this is probably the most boring of the bunch.
Just half the match.
Well, because here's the thing: the beginning is really slow.
Yeah,
and I'll give you that. Like the beginning is really slow because it's like a lot of other stories, right? It's like you like going to like Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? The book one is just naturally boring because it's world building.
Mm-hmm.
Like this match at the beginning is boring because it's trying to set up the story of, hey, my shoulder's hurt.
Yeah.
My shoulder.
Yeah, my shoulder's really hurt. So like naturally, it's just going to be kind of boring. But I really do think because that's the story that they're telling, it kind of just works.
Yeah.
So like once they start getting to the spots,
it's like, it's paying off.
Yeah, basically, it's the that what was it called? Fighting spirit. It's like, yes, I'm gonna do this. Basically fighting through it to try to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No, I enjoyed the wrestling more in this match than the Intercontinental one, right?
No, United States,
sorry. So yeah, I had enjoyed the wrestling more, but it's just like I said, thought it had a slow start, but that's whatever. Yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah. Granted, I think most of these matches probably could have just been a little better. Like,
right.
Not in terms of like these people are like terrible workers or anything like that. It's just like because I've been in wrestling so long, I've seen these guys like outside of the company as well as inside the company. So I know the types of matches that they can put on, that they're just being kind of like restricted because, they're part of WWE. It's like you can't do the same things you do on the indies that you can, while you're in, the company. Inherently, that's just going to be the way things are. Granted, they've gotten a little bit better at that of like, hey, kind of just tell the story that you want. As long as you can hit these spots, you're free to do whatever. They've been kind of on the up when it comes to stuff like that. But, I thought for what we got, I thought it was fine. It didn't like blow me away, but it was better than I thought. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably like 3.5. That was fine.
3.5.
I don't. It wasn't as good as the women's war games, but again, that's one of those things. Like inherently, it's going to be better than. It's going to be worse than the women's war games because the women's war games there's just more people. There's more stuff going on.
Yeah.
Inherently, it's just going to be more entertaining. But like I said, this is better than the Shinsuke, LA Knight. So yeah, I'd say like
I'd say 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything inoffensive, but it didn't blow us away.
Yeah.
All right, Vic, what say you? What's your star rating?
I'll give it like a 3, maybe 3/4. Maybe a 3. 3.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
All right, now we get to the meat and potatoes. The big story and the thing that most people are probably watching this event for. The Bloodline saga. We have Team New Bloodline versus Team Original Bloodline. So that would be New Bloodline. It consisted of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and Bronson Reed.
Yep.
And then New Bloodline, or no, New Bloodline, Original Bloodline, OG Bloodline, was Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, or Sami Uso in this case, and CM Punk. Pretty much in terms of like the original Bloodline, kind of like the original cast, and then we have CM Punk. And then, but basically that's the same thing on the opposite, right? It's like we have all the new blood and Bronson Reed.
Oh, okay.
Which I always thought was kind of funny because like they refused to just do 4-on-4 because since they've done it on the main roster, it's always been 5-on-5.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, we kind of have to just have a fifth person, so we can't do 4-on-4, even though it was 4-on-4 when they were doing it in NXT.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like I just thought it was funny. It's like we have to have a fifth. We have to have a fifth person. Like so we have to like find somebody to join the new bloodline. and then we have to find somebody to do stuff with to join him. And I was just like, okay, like whatever, it's fine. Granted, the match was awesome. I loved it.
It was
It was a
great.
good match.
It was pretty good. I was heavily sports entertained.
Yeah.
Like, so I think the big standouts from this match in terms of like their performance was probably Bronson Reed. You know,
Really?
Bronson Reed, and maybe like, I don't know. The thing is, I'm always blown away by like stuff like Bronson Reed does, or like Jacob Fatu. You know, for like the size of those guys, the things that they can do,
Yeah.
just seem like incredible.
Yeah.
The athletic ability is like not what you would think it is. You
Yeah.
know, them being bigger dudes.
Doing flips.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And jumping off the top, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's no. From the beginning of the match, it was entertaining. It was you know, there weren't too many slow parts. They kept the pace going really well.
Yeah.
As someone, like I said, who hasn't seen it in a long time, it was it flowed decently well. I mean, it flowed good. I thought it flowed good. And I guess going back to what I was talking about with the women's one, it's just it's crazy how, you know, how long they have to wait,
Mhm.
you know, to get to the actual match starting. And it's like, and the actual, you know, it's like, man, you'll have to go through a lot. Yeah, and they were going through quite a bit, you know, getting their butts kicked constantly. So it was good. I thought it was entertaining, and I thought, you know, I like the order that it came out in, you know, so it kind of meshed well, I guess, sort of a little bit with the story from what I'm learning about the story.
Well, yeah, because like in terms of like the context of like when people were coming out, you had the new bloodline that was basically doing everything on like Solo's orders.
Yeah.
So basically, Solo was being like, "Hey, you're gonna be the next one that goes out,"
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "Of course, my tribal chief. You know, we'll go out. You know, we'll go out when you tell them." And that was kind of like the story, right? It's like the new bloodline inherently is on the same page.
Yeah.
Whereas the old bloodline, they're kind of just working because they kind of have to.
Yeah.
Right. Like once they get to like, I think the original bloodline is sending out their people. They get to like the third person, and CM Punk wants to go out, but Roman Reigns, no, can't have you go out. You're gonna stay right here.
Yeah.
Sammy, you go. And Sammy goes and he does his thing, you know. And then they have the constant cut back to Roman and Punk in the cage, just being like,
And they're separated on the opposite side, just standing
like
there.
they just want nothing to do with each other. And it's like, that was kind of funny, but like it's also setting up that story, right? It's like these people don't like each other, they can't coexist, but they have to, right?
Yeah.
Because CM Punk's doing a favor for, you know, Heyman. Roman understands that he can't do this without a fifth man. You know, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, like, when it cuts back to the second to go again, and Roman's going to step out, or seems like he wants to step out, and CM takes off, and Roman gets all mad again, and it's just like, it's funny. And then they immediately cut back to him, and he's just looking off like all angry. It was funny.
It was great. It was great. I had fun watching that. It was great.
Now, I'm not gonna say like this is a spoiler for my star rating. It's not like a 5-star match. Like there are things that I just kind of found like kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Like so basically some of the things that happened in this match is like John said, you know, Roman's about to go out. Punk then is like, nah, me first. And then he heads to the ring, and then granted, this is such a nitpick, like it doesn't really matter. But I just feel like you use it in one way, but you don't use it in another. It just seems kind of weird. So anyway, before CM Punk goes in, he's like, nah, I don't want to go in. I don't want to do this. I don't want to work for Roman. I don't want to help him. I don't like this. But then he has like a second thought. He's like, no, I'm doing this for Paul. And he goes underneath the ring, and he gets his red toolbox. Same red tool. I don't think it's the same red toolbox, but it's a similar toolbox that he used when he was fighting Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood in Hell in a Cell. And it's like, oh, that's cool. You know, callback, you know, interesting. So then he goes in, and then he beats everybody with his toolbox. And I think he hits like Tongaloa a bunch of times. And they look like it hurts.
Yeah.
Like,
he was hitting him with the edges on some of those hits. I was like, man, I'm glad he had like the shirt on a little bit, because it was.
Yeah, he was getting it.
Yeah.
Like Tongaloa took a lot of like of the damage.
I think one of my favorite part, something silly, but when he comes in the ring with the toolbox, and one of the announcers says, he
like-
hasn't used that since McIntyre, and we haven't seen him since. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a little chuckle. But anyway, going back to that, like, I like that they bring back the toolbox, but there were clearly things in that toolbox.
Yeah.
You telling me you couldn't have pulled out something and just used it? Again, that's such a nitpick, but I'm like, come on. It's war games.
Yeah.
Like, pull something up. Pull like a screwdriver.
You could hear, like, maybe it had some wrenches or something.
just
you
get-
could hear that.
Yeah,
You
just
could-
grab something.
Maybe they thought maybe it's a little too dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nah, dude. Nah, that's fine. They could do it.
And then the multitude of moves throughout the match, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
They all got to do their finishing moves, and they all got multiple times. Some
Wait,
of them.
well, before we get to that, another little grab
Oh, yeah,
that
go
I
ahead.
had with it. So after Punk gets in, because the bad guys have the advantage, Solo is the last person on his team to go in before Roman.
Yeah.
So then Solo gets in, and then he locks the door
Yeah.
from the inside.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Ha, Roman, you can't get in now, so you're gonna be screwed."
Yeah.
Uh,
It was kind of
so
dumb. Like,
yeah, so and the reason it's dumb is because the first thing that we all thought was, well, why does he just climb the cage?
Yeah.
Like, so then when Roman finally can go in, he goes up to the door. He's like, "Oh, it's locked. Hey, where's the key? Well, we don't have the key. Well, how am I gonna get in?"
And he obviously saw them lock it. And to me, it bothered me a little bit where it was like, where he's there and he was just shaking on the cage a little bit. And it's just like, just run out there and climb over it.
Yeah. So then eventually
You knew what you were gonna have to do.
eventually that's the thing he does, right?
Yeah.
He goes and he climbs the cage. And it's like, so then what was the point of locking the door? Besides making Solo kind of look kind of dumb.
It's hilarious because I took something completely different from that whole thing.
What?
Was they weren't trying to stop him, they were trying to slow him down so that they beat
The guys
they
more.
beat the guys more.
Okay. That's some.
Because
Take him longer to get in. And
Because
then,
when Roman came up, he grabbed Sammy and he was beating on him, saying, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?"
yeah, that's true. Okay.
I mean, that's how I took it. It might
Here's the
be
thing, that
completely
could
wrong.
very well be right, but at the same time, I'm like, it's like, it didn't really slow him down that much.
I mean, if they had a top, a roof.
Yeah,
then
yeah. If there was,
yeah.
there was like a roof or something,
Right,
like
right.
then it costs.
Well, you've seen that before, right? In different matches. What is it, Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
When it's covered.
yeah.
Yeah. And they've locked it to where nobody can get in or out or whatever, and it's just like, oh, that's kind of cool, man. There's no way for them to get in or out of there. I mean, it's completely sealed inside the cage. So yeah, that was just kind of like, I didn't like when Solo went in, and it was just, I understand it's the whole. Now I know it's the whole. He's the chief or whatever, and it was just he wasn't really. He was barking orders around like it was just.
Yeah,
I
like,
don't know.
you're like, get him.
Yeah, get him, put him in the cage. Bam. First he's hitting him in the head, and he had to do it individually. Then it's like, bring him up here. Yeah, you slam him. Yeah, okay, you go hit him. It's like, man, you're like a supervisor.
Well, yeah,
It's
like I
just-
said, so he can't get in, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna climb the cage then." And so then he climbs the cage, and then he doesn't really have a hard time getting in
Yeah,
from
Yeah.
climbing the cage.
Yeah.
Like he hits Tongaloa and Tama off, and then Bronson Reed tries to come up, try to stop him, and then he gets his dingus.
yeah. That was man. I could feel that.
Yeah, he
that,
gets
that
his
was some
dingus
pain.
like because he's climbing, and then his dingus like gets in between the ropes, and he's like
yeah,
full force
He's
going
there.
down on it. And it's like, oh, it's
Yep.
like as bigger men, we can attest
Yeah.
that that's probably not fun.
Yeah.
But then they get in, and blood games, war games,
War
when it
games.
starts.
Yeah.
And then like stuff like it picks up. There's a little bit of drama.
Oh no, it doesn't start quite yet because they need to cut.
Yes,
open.
they have to cut the thing. They have to cut the door open because they can't start the match without a referee, and nobody
Yeah.
can get in.
Yep.
And granted, they took them forever
yeah.
They
to
had
get
bolt
those doors.
cutters.
It was a
They
while.
Yeah,
were
they
It was a
had
while.
bolt cutters. I was like,
trying to open it.
yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, after that happens, the referees come in, War Games officially starts, and then
And they got to do a standoff for a minute.
well,
And
that was
then-
like later in the thing.
was it later?
I think it was later. Honestly, I don't remember.
Actually, yeah, that was a little bit into it. No, yeah, it was a little bit.
At
into
some point, they're all standing on
it.
separate.
But then they
staring at
all
each other.
climb in the middle, and there's like 2 feet of space, and they're just it's like
Yeah.
okay for TV and for okay, that was awesome, that was cool, but it was like oh my god,
No,
that
that
was
was-
so inefficient.
No, that was definitely later because that happens after. I think that happens after Roman accidentally spears CM Punk. I think.
No, that happened when Roman
No, that
got in
happened
and beat
before.
everybody up, and then he went and picked all of his guys up.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Roman got out there and knocked all of them down, hit Bronson. He fell. He
Oh
backed
yeah,
himself.
Oh
he
yes,
He hit on him.
And
Yes,
he
he
started
went
picking
through.
everybody
Yes.
He knocked down Solo.
yes, and then he goes in, checks
Picks-
up on all his family because he's debating whether he wants to stay and beat them up more or go check on his family.
Yeah.
So then he goes,
Picks him up,
and
they're
then,
all standing and they're standing.
Well, he doesn't pick up everybody.
He didn't pick up CM Punk.
CM
He doesn't like CM Punk.
He goes
so-
like that.
Yeah, he shoots him off and goes to get Sammy Uso.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, you good? All right, you get up."
Yeah.
And then they do the intense stare off, and then they go and they fight in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's the obligatory we got to fight in the middle because like that's the thing that's the money shot. You know,
Yep.
that's the one everyone's gonna take their pictures of.
Speaking of the middle, not to get like too out of place here. Out of place here. When during the LA Knight match.
Yeah, I was about to bring it up.
When we had first seen the pay-per-view, I was like, man, when they were announcing the girls, I was like, man, someone's going to hurt themselves on that steel part in the middle.
Yeah.
I said, someone's going to slam on it.
Yeah.
And then he ended up slamming really hard on his head.
Yeah. Fucking,
And
yeah.
It was just like, wow. And that,
I think that's why I put it higher than the girls, because it's like, wow, somebody
like he actually got hurt.
like he actually got hurt
and,
there.
you know,
I don't care what
they made it like
anybody says.
that's the reason the guy won, and he hurt head, and
No,
I remembered it because Ruben said
it
steel.
was that, and then he rolls away, and then he kicks him in the head.
Yeah, he hits his finisher.
His knees him in the head. I'm like, yeah, he's winning.
Yeah. Anyways, so back to the other match.
Sorry.
Yeah,
well, that's why I said I was like, I like the finish. It's just the rest of the match is kind of boring.
Yeah.
But anyway, where were we? Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah,
So
the-
so bloodline. So both bloodlines fight in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we get to the other side, and everyone's hitting their finishers, and then CM Punk goes for the GTS. I think on Solo. No, he hits he's trying to go for the GTS on, I think it's Tamatonga.
Yeah.
Tangaloa. And then Roman's going to try to hit the spear on Solo. Solo dodges out of the way, hits CM Punk, takes him out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that's when the tides try to turn on the OG bloodline. And then they start beating him up some more. And then the funniest part, or not even the
You
funniest
talk
part.
about that. That's funny. Yeah,
Not even the what part do you think of? Is the part where I was right, clearly?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
hilarious.
Yeah, so
yeah.
so they get to the part.
I know what you're gonna say.
They set up one of the tables. Jacob Fatu and actually I think we should acknowledge this first because I think this happened before. I don't know if I got worked or not, but I think Jacob Fatu got really injured.
Yeah, I think you heard
because
it.
he had a really bad limp after a spot that looked like it was going pretty well. But I think I guess when he went to do the flip, he just kind of slipped.
Yeah, he landed wrong. I mean,
yeah.
it looked like he landed wrong.
Anyway, he looked like he was messed up, and I thought at one point they did something to like take him out, so they didn't have to worry about that.
Like
The low blow
Yeah.
to him from Roman, and I'm like, well, he's still going, so like, and he's still moving pretty fast.
they might
you know?
have got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I might have just been got.
Well, I don't know. When he was going through the ropes, he was lifting his
Yeah.
leg through it, like he couldn't like lift it all the way. So I mean,
I don't know.
maybe
if
he's
something-
a great actor, or
yeah, I don't know
you
if something
whatever.
is broken, or and maybe he's just
Yeah.
maybe we got worked. We got worked.
It might just be another shoulder situation.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get to the anyway, moving on from that. So anyway, they're setting up the table, and then we're like, oh, they're putting was it Roman? I think yeah, they put
yeah.
Roman on the table, and who else but the person I said was going to be the only person. Well, actually, he wasn't the only person, but the one I was guaranteed.
In the beginning,
Yeah, at the beginning of the match, the only one I was
Yeah.
like, this is a guarantee. He's going to jump off the
I
top.
was
He's
like,
gonna
he
go
is
to the
not
top
jumping
of
off
the
the top of the
cage.
stage.
was Big Bronson Reed, him and all 350 pounds of him, going to the top and then diving off just to burst through a table with nobody on it.
Yeah.
Because CM Punk.
Yeah, CM
Saved
Punk
Roman.
saves Roman
Saves
Reigns.
Yeah, that was one of the big
Wow.
things. And I know he hit. If you look at it, he hit with his legs first, but he hit straight chest to Matt. That was a big guy going really
Yeah,
fast.
and then he's out of it for the rest of the match.
He did not get up.
Oh, yeah, no,
the
he-
entire rest of the
he
match.
stopped moving.
Yeah.
He's not moving.
Anyway, yeah, Bronson Reed deserves his flowers. I thought, like I said, I thought he was one of the better people who looked better looking people in the match. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, he gets taken out. CM Punk goes and helps Roman, or he pulls him off, and then they kind of get on like a similar page, or realize like, hey, maybe we're not so different after all.
Yeah.
Anyway, they do that, and then something happens in the other ring. Jimmy also goes to the very top of the ring, and they put Jacob Fatu on the table.
table.
And at this point, I'm like, okay, so I'm either being worked or he's doing through all this through his injury.
pain, yep.
And at that point, respect.
Yep.
So anyway, Jimmy goes, hits the Uso splash from the very top of the cage onto Jacob Fatu, looking perfectly flat. as he's doing it.
Yeah.
He
He flew through the air like
he's
so
he's
flat.
perfectly
like,
perpendicular, and then by the time he actually lands on the thing, he's like on his knees, and he just looks like everything was bent. Like
it looked like
perfectly done.
he hit the chest, and he immediately boom put his feet down, and he was standing up already. It was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So then to end the match, Solo's in the ring. All the members of the OG Bloodline plus CM Punk, they're all staring him down. Solo's being like, it didn't have to be this way. We could have been to all this. And then Roman says something, and then Jacob. Solo ends up. He's like, I'm still the tribal chief. And then everybody hits their finishers. Jay hits a really gnarly super kick on him.
Yeah,
that was
a
one
good
thing.
slap. Yeah,
big slap, big noise. Yeah, so
and then a double kick, and then kick, double kick.
So it's a super kick from Jimmy, or super kick from Jay, super kick from Jimmy, double super kick from both the Usos. Sammy hits his haluva kick in the corner. CM Punk hits the GTS.
Yeah.
Solo being dazed and confused.
And he gets speared.
Gets speared by Roman Reigns. 1, 2, 3. Good guys win. War Games.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was fun.
And then as they're leaving, they exit the cage. After they hit their poses.
Look who it is. It's
Well, actually, before that, Roman Reigns and CM Punk shake hands.
Oh,
because they have earned each other's respect. I
That's
guess
true. That's
maybe, or maybe they're just thankful or so whatever.
Like,
Anyway, the more important part happened after. So they exit the cage. Everyone's leaving. CM Punk's there, walks out, goes to Paul Heyman, who had come out by this point because he realized that CM Punk and Roman Reigns weren't going to get on the same page.
Yeah.
And then he said some stuff, and then he shouted War Games, and I was like, yeah, War Games. Anyway, CM Punk goes and embraces Paul Heyman, and he's like, hey, don't forget that favor, or something, or to that extent. You owe me a favor. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, I got you. And yeah, foreshadowing for whatever that favor is, and whenever that favor happens.
Yep.
Again, little sprinkles of something to get you to tune in.
Yeah.
For future events and stuff like that. And that's basically how War Games ends.
Yeah. They hit their pose at the end.
They hit their pose at the end, and goes off the air.
The CM Punk doing
Yeah, CM Punk.
I thought that was hilarious, by the way.
Go to sleep.
It's like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was Survivor Series War Games, done by people who have never reviewed a wrestling show ever.
Yeah. It was
Yeah. Anyway, my star rating for that match, I'd probably give it like 4.5.
4.5 sounds good.
Probably, yeah. That's
I don't
I think it's a little better than my 4 rating. So
like I said, there was things in the match that like nitpicks. Like I said, that the toolbox. I don't really care for the whole locked door situation.
Yeah. Well, the same like the women's match, they're having to look for stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, plan it just a little bit better, No,
like I said, I 100% think that they put the stuff in the wrong spot.
Yeah, that was not them. That was probably somebody didn't play some.
Like imagine like everybody went to this side. Imagine if some of the stuff was on the other. Could have been. It's just like
But yeah, 4.5. I thought the match was good.
Yeah, I agree.
Little bit of nitpicks that bothered me that I do think kind of hindered the match, but overall, I thought it was a very
solid,
very good. I would say probably at most I'd give it like 4 and 3/4, but I think 4.5 is pretty fair.
I agree. It was fun overall.
Yeah, the show as a whole is probably like 4 stars.
4 stars.
Because I gave it 4.5.
Yeah.
The Sheamus match was like 4.25. The women's match was like 3 and 4, or 3 3/4.
Yeah.
3.5 for the
that
LA. Yeah, this is about 4. That's about a 4-star show.
Granted, we didn't watch the sort of like the replay, right? That was a replay.
Yeah, it was like a replay.
Watching older events many years ago, the only thing that I kind of missed was the in between like promo stuff, the backstage stuff, the events that used to be like, look, hey, look what's going on backstage, or
like cool skits or something.
Yeah, somebody getting attacked or some of this or something.
Yeah, the only skit that we got was Naked Otis.
Yeah, which we thought was an ad for something. It wasn't.
It wasn't an ad. That was an ad for.
That was
so
funny.
Look, I wasn't upset that it was an ad. I'm upset that they faked us, and I thought it was gonna be a skit. And they're like,
it was a skit, but
it was a cool shirt. I'm like,
yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't even remember the name of the t-shirt company.
True Classic.
True Classic.
Yeah.
Granted,
shirts look nice.
I said, those shirts look good. Like especially because Otis is a big guy.
Yeah.
I'd probably buy those shirts. Like, not gonna lie. But yeah, it was a interesting sketch.
Yeah.
He puts on the
But
shirt.
yeah,
as
that's
he's
the only
walking.
thing I was like, oh, this is a little bit different, but it seemed like it was just like boom, boom, next match.
Wasn't it? He didn't want to come out because he felt embarrassed. I was like, here, take this cool shirt. He comes out great, and then
He's naked. Yeah,
He
yeah.
goes, oh yeah,
oh yeah.
I got confused. I didn't know who Otis was, and the guy kept saying Otis, and I was like,
I thought he was saying Ortiz.
I thought that.
I'm like,
yeah,
all right,
Otis.
representation.
So yeah, that was
But yeah, that is our amateur
review
for Survivor Series Wargames.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be doing this for every show.
too often.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's only like 4 big shows a year, so who knows?
Yeah.
We should watch every big show.
We should watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Just the big shows, at
Just
least.
the big ones.
Just the big
one.
the big 4.
Give a little input.
We'll let you handle like the small.
We'll definitely
shows.
be doing this for like WrestleMania
Oh yeah,
because that's like the biggest show.
That's the one thing I know.
And maybe I'll get them to watch an AEW pay-per-view. But that would probably take up more time because those are like 5 hours long.
Wow.
We would have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
Yeah. War games.
That was fun. So with that,
Yeah. It's pack opening time.
Yeah.
it's that time of the week.
Yeah, I decided maybe I shouldn't do the song
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, let's not do that because that sounds
Not only that, but like,
About heavy metal. It's that time for the word.
yes, these are the packs that I was supposed to bring last week, and I forgot. And to be fair, I forgot them today. I had to go grab them before I showed up here.
Yes, you did.
That is funny.
So they're all the same, I guess. So we could just pick one. Yeah, well, I guess we don't. I guess
Just
we'll
roll. Yeah,
well, I
roll-
guess we
roll
should
the
still
few
roll
picks. Yeah, you
to
can
see
roll the
who
few-
opens theirs first.
Yeah, get your.
So I got 2.
You gotta. Yeah, you still gotta pick first.
5.
Wow. You pick first.
All right. I'll pick this one.
Get Rube in the middle.
Yes. Yes, as is tradition, we open 1 pack of cards every single week.
Wow.
Adds to the
So you'll
score.
get some misses. You'll get some hits, and yes, right out of nice.
Yeah.
Hey.
So right now, we're at 5, 3,
3,
and 5.
5.
We had no hits last week.
Yep.
So Vic,
No hits for the past 2 weeks.
no, we had a hit. I was the 5.
Oh, that before that it was another week. Yeah.
So
Hits have been lacking
yes.
lately.
So Vic cannot pull ahead, but he can catch up,
catch up a little bit.
and me and John can either pull a lead or not.
Ooh, basic electric.
All right. Got my code card again. All code cards for these will be somewhere right here, with 1 digit missing, so that's fair for everybody. And who went first? Who's number 1?
I am number 1.
All right,
Boom.
You.
Zangoose.
Oricorio.
Oricorio.
Didn't even
Scatterbug.
try with that one.
No, because I'm going to say like Orisorio.
Yeah, true.
It's very Spanish. Watro.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Azumarill. That's Annihilate. Gravity Mountain. Dedenne.
There you go.
Altaria.
And Vic
And-
got a slacking EX
Nice card.
after like what 5 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, probably like 5 weeks.
Finally.
It's been a while. Vic finally got a hit.
I finally got a hit.
All right.
That's cool. All right, let's see
It's
what.
John's turn.
See if we can pull ahead of Ruben. We got a Trapinch, a Relor, Celio, Clobopus,
Yeah, Clopopus.
Clobopus, that's what I said, Clobopus, Fluttermane, Bruxish, Meddling Memo, Chinpao,
Not Champa.
Chinpao,
Jump out.
Fampi,
Yeah.
and Slacking EX, different
Oh, he got the full art.
full art, yeah.
Damn, we got
I
2
said
slacking.
different art, full art.
Yeah, we got 2 slacking EXs. That's cool.
Nice, cool.
That last card's energy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't take it out.
All right. Well, John's in the lead, so
Nice.
I can either tie with him or probably.
If
not
Ruben
be-
pulls a Slacking EX, that would be hilarious.
that would be hilarious. The odds of that are happening are like very small.
Well, the odds of both. I mean,
Anyway,
whatever.
I got Simisear.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, I dropped all my cards.
Wait, we gotta.
Esper.
Yeah, we gotta put those separate.
Yeah.
We gotta separate those.
Shellos, Slackoth, Lowland Doug Trio, Clement's Quick Wit, Paldean Tauros, another Esper, Jasmine's Gaze, and a Tokiss. So I didn't get anything. So John is officially in the lead.
4, 5, 6.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, I don't mind being last if we're this way.
Oh, okay.
Well, we only have, I think, like 3 weeks left before we do the reset.
Before it all starts over.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So right now, John's in the lead. And he will get the special prize that we don't even know what the special prize is yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
Whoa.
We got a couple of weeks left. You could easily overtake both of us.
Yeah. You need to win every single week.
I have to be lucky.
Yeah, you have to win every single week, and you have to hope that we never pull anything.
Hey, I don't mind tying with
We got
somebody.
4 weeks left, right?
Something like that. Because
No, because in the
No, it's
4th
3
week
weeks.
is the first. That'll be the
Yeah.
first episode of the new year.
yes,
So 3.
Yeah,
3
so
weeks.
yeah.
So basically, you have to mount the biggest comeback of your life.
I accept this challenge. I don't expect to win, but I'm gonna try my
And as you
hardest.
can see, we I mean, you don't need any explanation, but we took down Thanksgiving decorations. Christmas decorations will be going up soon.
We're now in December.
Yes.
At the time,
It's been a fun.
actually, no, not at the time of this recording. When this comes out, it'll be December.
No, it's December
No,
right
it's
now.
Is it December right
It's
now?
December
Yeah,
1st.
it's December 1st.
I
At the
work
time of this
nights.
recording, it's December
At
1st.
the time, right now.
I work nights. I don't know what days
Yeah,
are.
Vic doesn't have a concept of time anymore. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Comment and let us know your thoughts on Survivor Series Wargames if you watched it. And if you haven't watched it, are you thinking about watching it? Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, let us know if our reviews were. Maybe
Hey,
your review. I
Yeah,
don't
let us
know.
know if our opinions of this wrestling show were
Coming from a
suffice.
guy who doesn't watch wrestling, it was pretty fun if you watch it with people you like.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it's not about the show that you watch. It's about the friends you make along the way. I said something similar last week. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode. Comment, like, and subscribe. Yeah, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
See you next time.
Peace.
Peace.